the possibilities of storytelling that happen in this new media, Facebook, Twitter. Is there something fundamentally different? Did you discover something fundamentally different about how that functions, or is it the same, just more condensed?
Well, brevity matters a lot. And it's interesting because and I find this also, I teach creative writing at the Columbia University in New York. And I find that even when I'm marking students' work, the brevity is in the back of my mind. And I keep thinking, oh my God, this digression is wonderful, but it's too damn long. Who's going to read it? Because I know, professors of literature who are telling me I can't read a 300-page book. It's too hard. So even when I'm looking at work, I'm thinking, well, how do we... So, for example, for a scene, I always say, get in, do what the scene has to do, and get out, instead of how literature used to be structured, which was a long walk through the park, and then a digression on pickles and Coney Island, and then, et cetera.
Does that mean that you are pessimistic about the future of long-form reading, or are you on the fence, or is it...
It will survive, I think, but I think Philip Roth put it rightly, that it will survive as a kind of minority cult. Or as Jonathan Franzen said, fiction, the new poetry, meaning... a very small, adorable group of people. I mean, whenever I see readers, my heart just breaks. It's so sweet that people still do this. And in different countries, it's I went to India for a reading a couple of weeks ago. Geez, they haven't heard the news. They still love books, and they think that it's the next big thing. So you go to the reading, and an entire class, first to eighth grade will come. 400 little kids in little uniforms. And they'll touch you like they're touching, an incredible creature. It's unbelievable. It's so sweet.
Well, there's 300 million English-speaking readers. I don't know. I mean, it's a big market.
And it's great because I don't even write these anymore. I just outsource them to India. And then they're read in India. So the cycle is so complete that...
I'm curious to know a little more, talking about kind of youth and the cult of youth. You teach at Columbia, you teach creative writing. It's mostly to graduate students or only graduate students?
Only graduate students. They won't let me near the undergrads.
Yeah.
I'm too corruptive.
So I'm curious about kind of their experiences reading and kind of understanding text.
Well, it's very sweet, and someone in the audience is one of my former students. Columbia, or these MFA programs are sort of these little islands of, and there's one here at Stanford, not an MFA program, but the Stegner, obviously, the famous Stegner program. They're little islands of sort of, where people still read obsessively and discuss these things, even when terribly drunk. After 9 drinks, people can still talk about Faulkner, which is probably how Faulkner should be talked about to begin with. But that's pretty amazing. That's why these programs are, I mean, everyone likes to rag on MFA programs, but there's over 400 of them in the United States, and I see them as these little islands where reading takes place. The sad thing is that the reading takes place, but only among people who are also writing, So there may be a point in American history where there will be more writers than readers, which will be awkward. So I'm not afraid of the future of writing in America. I think plenty of writers will be there, and they're really good. I mean, they come to us with a lot of skills, but we also, at least in terms of craft, the better programs can do a really good job in training a writer how to achieve their potential. But, the question is finding an audience, of course. And you have to go to India for that.
Right, as we've heard.
Or Germany, oh my God. Germany's the other place where you'll have in reading, and people, millions of people will come, and then they will ask questions like, yeah, okay, so on page 58, your character was wearing a green sweater? But on 63, it's brown. So, okay, yeah, so a book of magical realism I did not buy. And that's so adorable that somebody would actually go to the trouble to diagram your book and green, no, brown.